Hello, everybody. We are here for the NASCAR Pinty Series at Kawartha Speedway, the third race of the 2021 Fictional Series Championship. We're very excited to put this on for you guys today. Obviously, you don't see it up on the screen. We're going to have to do some changes to make our roster. So, let's start off by figuring out who is going to be a part of this race. Now, after doing a bit of research, I thought originally that what we were going to be looking at here was going to be Flamborous first and then Kawartha. What we're going to do is we're going to have Kawartha first because it's a little bit harder, unfortunately, because Kawartha, they only have, they only allowed 22 cars on the track. So it is kind of a tough deal there. We're going to have to probably lower the kind of the amount. Oddly enough, you see 40% 200 laps. I think the default is something crazy here. Yeah, it's 500 laps. That's not even close to what we would normally do. We're not gonna do a large race here. We're just gonna do a basic 100 lap race. You know, I don't want these to go on for hours and hours and hours, right? So let's put together our roster for the race at Kawartha. Third race of the championship. So we're going to need 22 cars because that's the max that we can have. So you obviously got the drivers that we're going to try and get full-time in the championship. So Simone, let's pick the steel blue for Brett Taylor, Kevin Lay, Tyler DiVincenzo, Brandon Watson, TJ Renamato, winner last time Herniak Jr., DJ Kennington, Alex Taglioni, Trayton Lapsevich, Marc-Antoine Camerand, Kyle Steckley, Andrew Ranger, Cole Powell, LP Dumoulin. Just trying to get the people that are actually battling for the championship. Mark Dilley, Kevin Lacroix. We're running out of spaces here. Donald Teague. J.R. Fitzpatrick. Kenny Forth. All right, so now we got to make some decisions here. We've got Dexter Stacy, Donald Chisholm, Wally Wilson, Gary Clute, Isabel Trombley, Cole Butcher, Chantel Kalika, David Michaud, Jamie Krizik, Robin Buck, Noel Dowler, Morad Hargrove. We'll put Joe Lawrence in. And we're going to need one more car. We're going to go with Isabel Trombley. And that's going to be our field at Kawartha. So now what we have to do, and you're not going to actually see this because it's actually more of an off-screen thing, is the rosters. So what basically we're going to do is going to pull the drivers that we have here and try and get them based off of some ratings from real-life data. That N ratings version 5.13 puts together. They have these fantastic formulas that they use, and I want to say 2008 was the last race at Kawartha, but I could be wrong. Let's see, NASCAR Canadian Tire Series, Kawartha. 2010, 2014. So we might just have to go 2014 to 2015, 2016. So 2016 was the last race. So we basically can go 2016 and back. So we're going to do that. We're going to go 20. Let's just go with 2016 and see who we have. And then we'll pick our last race, Kawartha Speedway. And we'll apply. All right. So what we're doing right now is just selecting the real life drivers to pair with the names that I have here. We're almost done. Okay. So we've got our 22 racers. They've got ratings, and we are going to put the race on right now. 100 laps. DJ Kennington won the very first race of the season. The second race of the season went to Michael Herniak Jr. Just make sure we pick the right roster this time. 100 laps, 1 pit stop, caution flags are on, full pace laps, double follow restarts, and of course, I'm going to put it on 101. Why don't we just do that in terms of the strength? So we're going to go to Kawartha Speedway, and we're going to put on this race here. See, hopefully everything will work nice and steady.
To your cars.
No need for practices. Let's get you your starting lineup here for the race at
Drivers to your cars.
Kawartha Speedway. Still live, mind you. So at the back of the field is TJ Renamato and Kevin Lay, Tyler DiVincenzo and Isabel Trombley, J.R. Fitzpatrick and Kenny Forth, Brett Taylor and Kevin Lacroix, Andrew Ranger and Donald Teague, Alex Tagliani and Mark Dilley, Cole Powell and Kyle Steckley, Michael Herniak Jr., and he's alongside LP Dumoulin, Joe Lawrence and Marc-Antoine Camerand, DJ Kennington, and Anthony Simoni will start up in near the front. Actually starts third. Trayton Lapsovich and your pole sitter out of 22, Brandon Watson in the number 9 will be on pole as we get ready to go from Kawartha Speedway. Get you right to the command here. Now, interestingly enough, the viewing actually doesn't seem to be as good here. I'm not sure if it's just, let me just fix my screen here and see if I can fix that brightness for myself. Don't know what that was, if that was supposed to be the command or not, but it didn't turn out very well. All right, so Brandon Watson, Trayton Lapsovich on the front row. Somebody would love to be able to see in this series. Brandon Watson. Trayton Lapsevich, Simone, DJ Kennington coming around. Kawartha Speedway is back. And the NASCAR Pinty Series goes green. Brandon Watson leads them into turn 1. Simone down to the inside looking for second position from Trayton Lapsevich in that number 20. And Watson leads them off for the first lap of 100. Simone down inside Lapsevich. He'll get second place. Cameron coming down in the 22. That is the battle for third. He's going to rush to the inside. Kennington now trying to hold off LP Dumoulin on the inside with Kyle Steckley as down to lead lap number 2 once again is Brandon Watson. Ed Hackinson Racing's number 9 out in front. Let's take a look at the back of the field here. It is a battle between Kevin Lay in the number 5 and Isabel Trombley in the 55, but right in front of them is J.R. Fitzpatrick and the Kodiak Boots number 84 Chevrolet and Kevin Lacroix. Andrew Ranger as well up in front of those guys, still struggling unfortunately to start this season. Lacroix and Ranger having a very slow start to the season. Of course, Andrew Ranger was not in the season a season ago after Mopar pulled their sponsorship. There's TJ Renamoto in the 02 making his way up. He was involved in a couple skirmishes in the last race, but eventually lost the engine. There's Donald Teague making his way up in the number 90 for White Motorsports. He will be back running the 80 this year in a split effort with... Actually, that looks actually more like it's... No, it's Brett Taylor, actually. Yeah, it's the steel blue car. That's why it was tricky for me. I couldn't really see who it was. Riding on board with Brett Taylor. And the Instacart Castrol Edge 17 Dodge of DJ Kennington. I want to thank Jerry Hall for the templates, numbers. A lot of the base schemes were Jerry's. The contingencies. He does all the paint schemes for the NASCAR Pinty. Oh, most of them. And he does one hell of a great job. He was kind enough to pass these materials along. Kyle Steckley in the 24, who we will see this year driving the 24 late model. 22 Racing. He's going to go underneath Alex Tagliani here in the Harry Rosen 18. So a good battle between Steckley and his teammate, Alex Tagliani. It looks like Steckley is going to get by there in the 24. He will. The battle between Teague and Kennington behind them. You're taking a look here. Cole Powell currently at the back of the field, struggling, but Brandon Watson leads this race over Anthony Simone. Trayton Lapsevich is in third. Marc-Antoine Cameron and LP Dumoulin. Then this is the battle that we see on track right now. LP Dumoulin trying to get to the inside of Marc-Antoine Cameron for fourth. And the Bellwether Tech number 47. Cameron in the McDonald's Canada 22. Here's Trayton Lapsevich currently running in third. A considerable distance between first and second. Brandon Watson in the Canadian Flatbeds Limited TD Bank Chevrolet currently up to a solid lead for EHR. This is Cole Powell in the Dave Jacobs Rogers Ford. Battling, there's Mark Dilley and Isabel Trombley. Trombley in the 55 Freedom Financial 55. Dilley in the NTN Bearings Villamo Chevrolet for White Motorsports. Dilley had a good run in the first, the start at least, of the race at sunset before fading. And this is Isabel Trombley. She makes the trip in the 55. Chantal Kalika does not, after being in the first 2 races of the season. Only 22 were able to make this race. We were going to do qualifying races, but just a little too complicated to get that to happen today. J.R. Fitzpatrick still struggling and at the back here with Andrew Ranger, but a solid move up into the top 10. How about Kenny Forth in the 86? Pure Country Radio car with Tim Hicks featured. Taylor Farms also featured on this 86 car for DJ Kennington. Field is pretty well spread out at the moment. Not a ton of battles actually around the track. There is, I mean, Trayton Lapsevich is closing. I mean, we've got a bit of a battle here. Is he right on board with Isabel Trombley? Isabel struggling. She's at the back in 22nd place. Cole Powell has gotten by in the 32. J.R. Fitzpatrick just ahead of him. The camera shot here. Helicopter. Kawartha Speedway. Of course, Kawartha is still in existence. It isn't being used, however, by any of the mainstream series. It is expected, I believe, that Oscar is going to run at Kawartha this year. So at least that they will have some events. But hopefully the track will be in Pinty Series scheduled territory in the future. Perhaps there's an ownership group there that can put on races, but right now, of course, it's going to take money. TJ Renamato in the 02 here. Polar Magazine on this car, as well as Tree Canada and Watson Building Supplies. Renamato group of companies. And continue going through the field here. There's Kevin Lay. Great run last week, finishing in 6th place at Sunset Speedway, while teammate Michael Herniak picked up his first career victory. Joe Lawrence makes his first start in the NASCAR Pinty Series, the 2020 APC Late Model Champion, running the 28 President's Choice car for DJ Kennington. And Tyler DiVincenzo, also from APC Late Model fame, running the number 8 Skip the Dishes Chevrolet for Ed Hackinson Racing. Just ahead of him, Brett Taylor in that number 3. And then, of course, 10th place is Kenny Forth. So a pretty relaxed field right now. Brandon Watson pretty well out in front, but you see he is catching the back of the field now. And that could spell trouble for him with Anthony Simone under pressure from Trayton Lapsevich. Brandon will have to be careful. He's got Mark Dilley and Isabel Trombley just ahead of him. Only 34 laps into this race out of 100, but going by real fast. Now, again, reminder that after this race is the race at Flamborous Speedway, which will be, of course, a race with 24 cars on track. 2 more entries expected. The belief is what you're going to see is whoever is already on the track right now in this race is going to be at Flamborough as well. Of course, we'll have 2 more drivers on track. We'll obviously have those announced after this race is finished. So Brandon Watson, really no competition right now. Trayton Lapsevich, sitting in 3rd place, is trying to reel in Anthony Simone in the number 1. And Anthony has not been able to get a 2nd place in this series. So it would be very cool to see Anthony be able to get back on the podium. It's been a while. continuing to watch the battle at the back of the field here between Isabel Trombley and Mark Dilley as they try to stay on the lead lap. Brandon Watson, however, is closing, and the two Chevys that you see there, one is at the back of the field and one is at the front of the field. Mark Dilley in that 64 is unfortunately, he is struggling right now in that 64 with White Motorsports. His teammate in the number 80 in 9th place, Donald Teague. And then in 15th is his other teammate, TJ Renamato. Of course, Trayton Lapsovich is with 22 Racing, so technically no alliance there, even though he is an RGC Sports athlete. Well, Brandon Watson has caught the back of the field now and will start to put this field a lap down, but he will be coming in 8 laps to get halfway. As you see, Kevin Lacroix, he is still in the bottom half of the pack with Andrew Ranger and J.R. Fitzpatrick. A miserable race so far for J.R. He didn't qualify very well either, so this is probably the reason for his struggles, but Brandon Watson easily has had the best car today, starting up front. And unfortunately, what we have seen in our races so far is very little passing for the lead. It has basically been the pole sitter leading most of the laps here, and it really is because you've got only 100 laps put on there. You know, we're basing it off of real statistics, so trying to get the AI perfect is a lot harder than maybe you would think. But again, this is only the first race. We've got a second race that's going to come up. So far, pretty straightforward. We wouldn't want to make it at 105 or 110 in terms of the strength, because it tends to get a little chaotic. We watch TJ Renamato. And TJ's still running back in 15th. He's actually passed, though, last week's winner, Michael Herniak Jr. in the 15, carrying the Circle K Rowdy Energy Chevrolet for Herniak Hall Motorsports today. And Joe Lawrence trying to get past Tyler DiVincenzo in the number 8. He's running a little bit higher on the track. You see Kevin Lay really running a lot lower on the track. There's DiVincenzo here. Let's follow along inside Tyler DiVincenzo's number 8. His teammate Brett Taylor is just in front of him in 11th. And they are trying to catch that 86 of Kenny Forth. Now, in the previous race, we did have some mechanical failures. Riding on board here with Kenny Forth, who's made a return to this series after a long absence. Watching here, this is your 10th place driver, or 9th place driver, in Donald Teague. Then the closer, I guess you'd say, probably the closer battles, DJ Kennington, Alex Tagliani, but this is the real battle right here. LP Dumoulin and Kyle Steckley. That is a battle for the 5th position. Not really closed in yet, as you see Brandon Watson is struggling with those lap cars, and it has allowed the 1 and the 20 to catch up to the 9. The lead under a second, as Anthony Simone in the number 1 and Trayton Lapsovich now trying to get even closer to Brandon Watson. The Chevy up front, a Dodge, and then another Chevy. And it's unfortunately a Chevy that's holding up the leader right now. Anthony Simone, of course, still trying to reel him in that number 1. Normally you'll see Silverline Tools on the number 1. See if that's going to be the case this year. We're building a brand new oval car. Lead is down to 0.75. 138 for Trayton Lapsevich, down to 72. You see Brandon's really closing in on Mark Dilley now. But is he going to be able to make the pass? You see, he's not really sure where to go. And that is reeling in Anthony Simoni. So we continue to watch Anthony Simoni and Brandon Watson. 40 laps to go in this race. Brandon Watson has led from the start, but is in heavy lap traffic right now. And in lap traffic that really isn't off the pace. So he's got to be extra careful, because if he's not careful, Brandon Watson is going to lose maybe not just first, but potentially second, third, and fourth, as Marc-Antoine Cameron is now under 2 seconds to the lead. The Gibson's finest, number 1, Rakuten Kobo Dodge. See Brandon Watson still trying to get to the inside of Mark Dilley. And he can't seem to get a good enough run. But we really haven't seen enough, as they actually lost a bit to the leader that time around, as Trayton Lapsevich is all over the back of Anthony Simoni right now in that number 20. Cameron trying to close in fourth. LP Dumoulin and Kyle Steckley also right there. A little bit bigger of a distance back to Tagliani and Kennington. But it almost looks as if that battle is going to be for second place right now, as the battle between Trayton Lapsevich and Anthony Simoni for second place looks like it's actually heating up a bit more than the battle for the lead. Watson still stuck behind Mark Dilley in the 64. They come around to get lap 67 on the board. If they're going to make moves, they're going to have to do it quickly, because Brandon Watson has gotten his lead extended by a little bit. He's up to almost 6 seconds, 0.6 seconds. Still not cutting off enough of that lead, and if they're going to make a move, like I said, they're going to have to make it pretty soon, because he's not getting out too far. But they're not catching up nearly enough. They're not on his back bumper. Now, they made up a lot of time. Simoni did that last lap, as Watson really trying to push Dilley now. But again, still, he gets such a good run off the corner. And you see a little bit high there for Simoni. I don't know if he wanted to do that, because that lost him a little bit of time. A little bit higher again in 3 and 4. And I think that actually lost him a lot of time. Yeah, he lost 0.2 of a second that lap. Watson pulling away. I mean, it got tight, but now, oh, you know what? This might not work out, because Dilley now has a battle between he and Isabel Trombley for position, and that high side is blocked, meaning Watson has nowhere to go. Although it looks like Dilley is going to clear Isabel Trombley, and that will allow Brandon Watson a lap car to the high side, and that will clear the way for him. The lead not shrinking up as much. They made back the time that they had lost. But you see Trombley sticking to the high side. Simoni still not getting a great run into the corner, as Watson is really, really good coming off. And in fact, Simoni being held up by Trombley. Here comes Lapsevich to the inside. Trayton Lapsevich for second. Cameron right behind him, trying to get that third position as well in the 22. Simoni could fall back here. It looks like he will, as Lapsevich has cleared into second. Here comes Cameron. Kyle Steckley now moving up into fifth. by LP Dumoulin, trying to follow his teammate by Anthony Simoni for a top 4. See if he can get a good run. Simoni's still stuck on the high side. Steckley going to try and get to the inside. He's not there, and Simoni will clear. So now Isabel Trombley is in the way for Trayton Lapcevich, and I think with 20 laps to go, it is going to be mighty hard for Trayton Lapcevich to catch up to Brandon Watson, who's stretched his lead out to 1.16 seconds. Doesn't sound like that much, but on this track right now, it is not easy to pass. Your top 10 rundown, Watson out in front, 1.13 seconds over Trayton Lapcevich. Marc-Antoine Cameron sits in 3rd place. 4th for Anthony Simoni. 5th, Kyle Steckley. 6th, LP Dumoulin. 7th to Alex Tagliani. 8th, DJ Kennington. 9th, Donald Teague. And 10th, Kenny Forth. 11th is Brett Taylor. 12th, Tyler DiVincenzo. 13th, Kevin Lay. 14th, Joe Lawrence. 15th, TJ Renamato. 16th, Michael Herniak Jr. 17th, Kevin Lacroix. 18th, Andrew Ranger. 19th, J.R. Fitzpatrick. And 20th is Cole Powell. Mark Dilley is 21st, and now a lap down is Isabel Trombley in 22nd. That is your full field rundown right now. We are going to watch your leader, Brandon Watson, and he is really not got much competition right now for the lead with 84 of 100 laps complete here at Kawartha Downs Speedway. He's got a ton of traffic in front of him, but he's got enough of a gap that I don't think it's going to affect him, because Trayton Lapcevich is stuck behind Isabel Trombley, and I don't think that Brandon Watson is really going to push it to try and get by. In fact, the lead did shrink a little bit that time, but again, he's got basically a car buffer between him and Trayton Lapcevich, so he can basically just hang out right where he is. And Brandon Watson will get his first career NASCAR Pinty Series victory in basically his second start here at Kawartha. His first start last week at Sunset Speedway. Watson will be running the short tracks, not the road and street courses, just the short tracks. So he will be at Flamborous Speedway as well. Of course, that will be a great event coming up next. 24 entries will be in that race. Flamborous Speedway was added to the calendar for the first time last year in 2020, and will be back on. So coming around, there'll be 10 laps to go this time by, 10 laps to go. 90 of 100 laps complete. A lot of lap traffic there. Cole Powell trying to get to the inside of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Mark Dilley still back out in front of Brandon Watson. Unless there is a spin or some sort of caution, I don't know whether anybody's going to be able to catch Brandon Watson, as this is the biggest his lead has been since the beginning of the race. A little tight there with Mark Dilley off of 3 and into 4, but he is going to get to the inside. Dilley with a great run off the corner, though. But Watson might get the drive off of 2. And he will put Mark Dilley a lap down after a strong fight from the 64 to stay on the lead lap. Watson continuing to lead here. Cole Powell just in front. Trayton Lapcevich is in 2nd place. He's holding off Marc-Antoine Cameron. Then we've got Simoni, Kyle Steckley, LP Dumoulin, Tagliani, Kennington, Teague, and Kenny Forth. Well, it's been a dominating race and a dominating performance for Brandon Watson so far in this race. We're not really shocked, however. He's a fantastic short track racer, a multi-time winner and champion in the APC Late Model Series. He's also done a lot of racing down south, and of course he's with the team that has dominated the short tracks over the last couple of years. That is, of course, Team 3 Green in this case, of course, for the TD Canada team. But it's the Team 3 Green Ed Hackinson Racing number 9. Also, of course, his teammates, the number 8 of Tyler DiVincenzo, the 3 of Brett Taylor, and of course, on the road and street courses, the 33 of Daniel Morad. Well, he's going to come around and get 3 to go, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him. Not this time. Brandon Watson, he's got the 32 of Cole Powell just in front of him, but likely not need to push it. Trayton Lapsovich is too far behind. Trayton's not going to catch him with the traffic behind him, right? He's got 2 lap cars behind him right now. Trayton trying to make a good run of it in the number 20, but it will not be enough. The white flag is going to come out for Brandon Watson in the number 9 Canadian Flatbeds Limited TD Canada Trust Chevrolet. Win number 3 of the season, first of his career. Brandon Watson wins at Kawartha Speedway. Trayton Lapsovich in second place. Marc-Antoine Cameron finishes in a solid third place. Fourth for LP Dumoulin. They'll crash up as they head to pit road to end this race. Kyle Steckley finishes in 5th place. 6th for LP Dumoulin. 7th for Alex Tagliani. 8th for DJ Kennington. 9th, Donald Teague. And 10th to Kenny 4th. Brett Taylor finishes in 11th place. 12th is Tyler DiVincenzo. 13th is the 28 of Jordan Lawrence. And Kevin Lay finishes in 14th with his teammate Michael Herniak in 15th. TJ Renamato finishes in 16th place, and Kevin Lacroix in 17th. 18th for J.R. Fitzpatrick. Cole Powell finishes 19th as he busts past Andrew Ranger on the final lap to claim 19th. Ranger finishes 20th. Mark Dilley and Isabel Trombley round out your field of drivers. 22 that took to the track today. Unfortunately, a tough race for a lot of the favorites here. So that was the Kawartha race. We are going to go straight into our Flamborough fun. We're going to Flamborous Speedway. Now, I think I already did a roster for this, but we're going to do Flamborough 2 because this is the one that we actually are going to run with. Anthony Simoni will be in this race once again. Brett Taylor is going to take the Coca-Cola Canada Hatch Limited car. Kevin Lay in the number 5 is back in this race, as will be Tyler DiVincenzo in the fully sponsored Skip the Dishes machine. Brandon Watson is going to be in the Allen's Apple Juice, number 9. The 02 for TJ Renamato. Back to the Land Shark, number 15 for Michael Herniak. The MLSC Foundation 17 for DJ Kennington. The Shopify 18 for Alex Tagliani. The Quick number 20 for Trayton Lapsovich. The Casper Mattress 22 for Marc-Antoine Cameron. And the Napa Auto Care 24 for Kyle Steckley. The Budweiser 27 for Andrew Ranger. The 28 will be on track with Joe Lawrence. The 32 Rogers Sportsnet machine for Cole Powell. LP Dumoulin will drive the Servomax 47. Isabel Trombley runs the 55 Freedom Financial machine. Mark Dilley in the 64. Wally Wilson in the 69. The 74 of Vachon Snack Cakes machine for Kevin Lacroix. And Donald Teague in the Labatt number 80. Flamborous Speedway will welcome back J.R. Fitzpatrick in the Home Hardware 84. Kenny Forth takes the 86. The final driver in the race for today is going to be Donald Chisholm in the number 89. So that is your starting roster for this race. We're going to exit out and get our ratings set. Hey, Maddie. So we're going with Flamborous number 2. We're going to impact, we're going to do, of course, the results from last year. I'm going to put those in. There's 2 races that they did at Flamborous Speedway. So we are going to double check those, see what we got. Be very interesting. Put these 2 together here and see what we've got. All right, so we are ready to go. Got our field is ready to go here, and we are going to get ready to put this race on. 100 laps from Flamborous Speedway, which is going to be a lot of fun. And we should definitely see some, I would expect we'll see a bit more fireworks in this race, actually. Typically, that's what seems to happen at this track. We're going to go 100 laps. This is 105, so we're actually going to kick it back to 90 laps. We'll do 103. Now, there is one of the tracks, I want to say it's Capital City, but I could be wrong. One of these tracks that WKRT made just does some really weird things when you try to do some of the ratings a little too high. So I have to make sure that this one, it can happen where some of the ratings, I guess, get screwy. If you have it too high, they just wreck everywhere. So I don't want to obviously have that be the problem here. So let's take a look at your starting lineup here at
Drivers to your cars.
Flamborous Speedway. Ooh, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty stacked start of the field here. J.R. Fitzpatrick wins the pole position in the 84 Home Hardware Chevrolet. Surprise there, eh? Trayton Lapsevich in the number 20. Andrew Ranger, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Joe Lawrence, and Kevin Lacroix. Kyle Steckley, Brett Taylor, Brandon Watson, and Cole Powell, your top 10. DJ Kennington, Mark Dilley, Anthony Simoni, LP Dumoulin, Alex Tagliani in 15th. 16th will be Kevin Lay, Michael Herniak Jr., Kenny Forth, Isabel Trombley, Tyler DiVincenzo, Donald Teague in 21st, Wally Wilson 22nd, 23rd for Donald Chisholm, and 24th for TJ Renamato. So it will be a very great start to see J.R. Fitzpatrick. He didn't really get this opportunity to run up front last season in the Pinty Series, so this should be fun. 190 laps from Flamborous Speedway. Green flag is out. J.R. Fitzpatrick leads. Andrew Ranger trying to get into second place. He's got Trayton Lapsevich on the outside. Jordan Lawrence in the 28 going to his inside for DJ Kennington as the lead for Larry Jackson Racing's 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick. Then you've got the 27 for DJK, and then DJK's 28. Sitting right there, Kyle Steckley in the 24. This is his home track. Same with J.R. Fitzpatrick, Kenny fourth. So right out in front, see the number 24 coming to the inside there. Great battle for the lead. J.R. Fitzpatrick and Andrew Ranger, great classic racing out on the road and street courses, but it's the short tracks today that the 84 of J.R. Fitzpatrick is out leading. Taking a good look back to the 27 and the 28 on track. Oh, there's a big crash. Big crash. The caution is out. Herniak is involved. And it looks like LP Dumoulin was also involved. I saw the wreck actually while we were on board. Let's take a look. It's going to be the 15 of Michael Herniak that gets involved with Alex Tagliani and Brett Taylor. As we take a look here. So this is always dangerous. 3 wide on a short track typically doesn't work. But let's see if is it Herniak that comes up? Yes, it is. Herniak comes up into the 3, into the 18, and into the wall goes the 15 Landshark Lager 15. Dumoulin looks like he gets stopped. Kevin Lay gets stopped. There's Renamato to the inside. The 86, and I'm so, wow, what a great move by LP Dumoulin not to get involved in that. So the caution out early here at Flamborous Speedway for Michael Herniak Jr., our winner at Sunset Speedway, after he was not clear. So our leader, J.R. Fitzpatrick, led so far. Going to be 10 laps down, 80 to go. Typically, we would do a longer race here, but, you know, early to bed because work is calling. So we've got 80 laps to go here. Fitzpatrick out in the lead. Ranger, Lawrence, Steckley, Watson, Trayton Lapsevich, DJ Kennington, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Anthony Simone, and Kevin Lacroix, your top 10. '11th for Isabel Trombley. She's moved up quite well. Brett Taylor, who was involved in that accident. Donald Teague. Donald Chisholm's moved up. Mark Dilley. Cole Powell. Wally Wilson. Tyler DiVincenzo. The 18 of Tagliani, of course, was involved. The 20. So we're going to come back to green. Fitzpatrick leads them back to green. Ranger with a great restart. The 28 gets a little bit high. That's going to open the door. Watson down to the inside of Steckley. He's going to take Trayton Lapsevich with him. They're both going to go to the inside. That 27 Budweiser Dodge for Andrew Ranger chasing down the Home Hardware 84. Ooh, does not get in that corner very well at all. That's going to allow Joe Lawrence in the 28. President's Choice Dodge to get a good run and battle his teammate for second. The back of the field here, Kenny fourth and Michael Herniak Jr., LP Dumoulin. It's a great battle. Kevin Lay and TJ Renamato. Tagliani trying to make his way up. He's trying to get by Wally Wilson there in the 69. He will get by, of course, Wally. There's gonna be a new paint scheme, I think, for that Pinty's car. We're gonna do a bit better work on that car, I think. Try and do a little bit better job for Wally. Shopify, and there's the 89 all the way from Nova Scotia, running a Dave Jacobs 89 car with McCain and Celtic Ford on it. Donald Chisholm. Tyler DiVincenzo. Isabel Trombley. There's Mark Dilley in the 64. A great battle here. Cole Powell. You see the 3 of Brett Taylor battling with Anthony Simone for a 10th place position. 3 wide again, just behind this group. We'll see if it works this time. They made it through. That's between Dilley and Trombley. There's Tej. The 3 of Taylor going to the high side. Great run last time out at Kawartha Speedway for the 1 of Anthony Simone, but unfortunately finished in 4th. Was not able to get that podium that he was in 2nd place for most of the race until some lap cars got in the way. Here's DJ Kennington with Kevin Lacroix, Marc-Antoine Cameron, Kyle Steckley, his teammate just in front of him, Trayton Lapsovich in the Quick Wick number 20. And sneaking up once again, how about this guy, Brandon Watson? Last week's winner was on pole, led the whole race, and won after 100 laps, and he's moved his way into 3rd place. Andrew Ranger sits in 2nd, and J.R. Fitzpatrick continuing to lead in the home hardware number 84. And he's catching those lap cars pretty quick, and last week, J.R. Fitzpatrick was one of those lap cars, and now he's out in front at a track he knows extremely well, Flamborous Speedway. Battle at the back of the pack is between Herniak and Renamato, trying to stay on that lead lap. Donald Chisholm just ahead of them. So contact early, though, put Herniak in the back of the field. He is just trying to make his way through. And he's the only car, I believe, that got some damage in that spin and into the wall he went. Nobody else seemed to garner any damage. And here comes Fitzpatrick. He's going to go to the inside of Renamato here if he gets a good enough run. One thing it looks like that we can easily say here is the track's a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to get into the lap traffic, as Fitzpatrick completely goofs in turn 3 and 4 there, allowing Ranger to tuck up right behind him. Lap traffic could be the story here again today. It was last week, and that people can get by. Now Ranger blows the corner and goes up high, and Fitzpatrick will extend his lead. They had cut the lead down to 0.2, and now it's back up to almost 0.6. But there's a lot of traffic in front of the leader right now. Fitzpatrick will go to the inside of Renamato. Renamato does not let him through. He doesn't really technically have to let him through. Ranger goes high again in 3 and 4, and that might cost him because Brandon Watson is there. Renamato is still out in front. Fitzpatrick goes a little bit high. Not too high, though. Fitzpatrick, he's got more problems. Ranger has Brandon Watson all over him. As Fitzpatrick blows it again, and to the inside is Andrew Ranger. He's going to try and get the lead here. Hasn't been able to do it. Lap 34 of 90. As Herniak is going to go in front of Donald Chisholm in the battle to try and stay on that lead lap. He now has 2 cars. Ranger really high in turn 1 and 2 that time. He's going to cut off Brandon Watson from making the pass. Side by side in front of the leader is not what you want to see. Donald Chisholm and TJ Renamato side by side. It looks like Renamato is going to actually clear Chisholm here. Fitzpatrick goes high. It's not going to work with Chisholm up there. Try and get a good run off the corner. Lap 37 now into the books. Ranger back up high. Watson trying to get a run down on the bottom. It's bringing back Joe Lawrence and Trayton Lapsevich into the scene here. Watson to the inside of Andrew Ranger into 3. Fitzpatrick goes high. And that number 9 is going to try and get into second place and catch his second straight victory. Be the first multi-time winner this season. So into second place. Now comes Jordan Lawrence. Lawrence into third. Ranger having trouble trying to keep the car on the bottom side of the track. He's got Lapsevich and Steckley, Cameron, Lacroix, and Kennington all there. Let's take a look there at that battle. We're just going to fly through the field here. It's pretty well a traffic jam at Andrew Ranger as Trayton Lapsevich now goes to the inside. Ranger sticks it back on the outside. Lapsevich going to try again. He's got 4th. Ranger battling back. Lacroix right behind Steckley in front of Cameron. He's got 22 Racing all around him. Here comes Simone to the inside of Kennington. Great battling here, but we've got a battle for the lead here. Watson, he is right there. Jordan Lawrence trying anything to catch up to these top 2. The lap traffic is dissipated in front of the leaders. Chisholm is there. Ridamato has gotten away. The battle is still for those top positions in the field. Here's, you look at this. Teague, Kennington, Taylor, Trombley, Powell all together. Just ahead of them is Simone and Cameron. Side by side, Cameron and Simone. Again, Simone had a fantastic run last week at Kawartha. Cameron to the inside and clear. Lacroix in front of him, Steckley. Ranger. It's Lapsevich Lawrence. Now Jordan Lawrence has moved his way up into third place and is catching Brandon Watson. Where there might be this issue is they're going to have to try and navigate around Donald Chisholm, and they have not been able to do so yet. Fitzpatrick goes a little bit high. That's going to welcome back Brandon Watson close. It's got Lawrence and Lapsevich. Watson, Lawrence, and Lapsevich, the young blood here. Steckley in 6th. So a good mix of young guns and veterans. Fitzpatrick still not able to get around Chisholm. They're kind of around 40 laps to go here at Flamborous Speedway. Will we see a lead change? That will be interesting to see if that happens. The number 9 for Ed Hackinson Racing, second place right now. The number 84 in combination with Larry Jackson at Firehouse Motorsports. Whoa, Fitzpatrick a little high there. Too high maybe. Watson to the inside. Lawrence is there too. Is it a little bit too high there? Will Watson get the lead? No. Fitzpatrick grabs the lead back. Lawrence is there for third. Watson for the lead into 3. And Brandon Watson has taken the lead. Lap 55. You see Fitzpatrick, he's doing the same thing that we saw happen to Andrew Ranger as he's starting to get up a little high. There goes Lawrence, way, way too high into 3. And here goes Trayton Lapcevich for 3rd. Fitzpatrick back to 2nd, but he's not going away yet. He goes a little bit high there, trying to stay in the groove. Chisholm still out in front of Watson, so perhaps that is what the story is going to be, is whether they can get around the lap car. So Lawrence is back to 4th place. Andrew Ranger has dropped to 6th as Kyle Steckley now moves into 5th place. Lacroix in 7th, Cameron in 8th, Kennington and Simone in 10th, Taylor, Teague, DiVincenzo, Trombley, Powell, Wilson, Dilly, Lay, Dumoulin, 4th, Herniak, Tagliani, of course Tagliani and Herniak are damaged, Renamato and Chisholm. That is your full field rundown with 30 laps. 30 laps to go. Brandon Watson won last week at Kawartha Speedway. Now trying to get his 2nd straight win. He got the lead from J.R. Fitzpatrick. But J.R. is looking like he's reeling him back in. Trayton Lapcevich also trying to get in as part of this battle. And Lapcevich gained. So did Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick looking very strong. But again, it seems to be like ever so often somebody overcooks turn 3 and it basically loses them a whole bunch of time. Just like that, Fitzpatrick has fallen back into the clutches of Trayton Lapcevich. Joe Lawrence still there. Kyle Steckley still there. But no real change near the front here. As Chisholm continues to stay pretty, okay in front of the leader. Watson really has not gained on him. I mean, it's gonna be very interesting in the battle for the championship because we know Brandon Watson is not running the full season. However, J.R. Fitzpatrick, Trayton Lapcevich are. So that could very well play into this championship if Trayton and J.R. Fitzpatrick are able to stay in this top 3. Trayton got a top 3 finish last week and could potentially get another top 3 finish this week. Anthony Simone has actually fallen out of the top 10 now. Not sure what's going on with Simone. Fitzpatrick, once again, he's reeling him back in. Last time he did it, though, he overcooked 3. The battle might be between for 4th with Steckley and Lawrence. Again, Donald Chisholm is a lap car in front of the leaders. Watson goes high there. That gives Fitzpatrick a chance. He gets a great run off the corner, though. If he stays high again, he could get him. Fitzpatrick is there. Just don't overcook 3, and he did. He did. In that battle, it's that battle for the lead. That seems to be what happens as the 2nd place car seems to get such a good run, and for whatever reason, into 3, they can't handle the car, and it washes up, and he did it again. Fitzpatrick does it again, and to the inside is going to be Trayton Lapcevich. Lawrence did the same thing in turn 1. And potentially Kyle Steckley could have gotten a run there. But Watson extends his lead as Lapcevich now goes really high. Battles further back between Kevin Lay and Alex Tagliani. 15 laps to go. Rinamato and Chisholm are now starting to get close to one another. Potentially going to tighten things up once again at the front of the field. Not enough time, really, as Chisholm goes high. That allows Brandon Watson to get a bit of a run to the outside. Outside, Fitzpatrick going way, 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 way too high there. Up near the wall, and he lost a lot of time. Watson, though, he's got this lap car in front of him. Don't know if he can get by. He needs to. He's going to try the high side. That doesn't seem to give really much of a good run. Of course, one caution early in this race. Michael Herniak and Alex Tagliani getting together after Herniak came up. He was not clear. Former winner this season as Fitzpatrick once again, he reels him in. But then every time he blows this turn 3 and 4. Gonna come around with 10 laps to go for potentially Brandon Watson to secure his second straight victory for Team 3 Green. And Ed Hackinson Racing once again. Oh, we got a car in trouble smoking. It's TJ Rinamato. I don't know if that's going to bring the caution. Oh, boy. He almost got into Trayton Lapsevich there. No yellow. No yellow. So, TJ Rinamato, unfortunately, his day will go up in smoke. That's actually the second time that Rinamato has had a mechanical failure. They're going to come around. The battle for this win is really going to be between just these two guys, because after that little bit of contact with Rinamato as he was trying to get out of the way, Lapsevich has fallen back into the clutches of Jordan Lawrence. Kevin Lacroix has now moved into 5th. Steckley has dropped back to 6th. 7th is Andrew Ranger. 8th for Kennington. 9th for Cameron. And 10th for Jason Hathaway. Or for Brett Taylor. I'm going to make that mistake quite often. 5 to go. This time around. We have 5 laps to go. Can Fitzpatrick get there? And will we see any sort of contact to end this race? Up high goes Watson. Fitzpatrick, he really tried. He really tried to get there. He couldn't in the end. He didn't have a good enough run. Even with Brandon Watson going high, Fitzpatrick tried and tried and tried, but just hasn't been able. He gets that great run and then he just never seems to get it to hook up in that turn 3. And this looks like Brandon Watson is gonna be safe, because he's got a big enough lead. Unless something crazy happens, we're going to see a second straight victory for Brandon Watson and the EHR team. He goes real high there. And once again, he chops down in front of JR. They're going to come around and get the white flag this time by. The top 3 are that close. Watson, Fitzpatrick, and Lapsevich. Not going to get him out of 2. Into 3 and 4. Fitzpatrick has nothing. Brandon Watson, 2 in a row in the NASCAR Pinty Series. He wins at Flamborous Speedway. J.R. Fitzpatrick finishes in 2nd. Trayton Lapsevich in 3rd. Jordan Lawrence, a great run for DJ Kennington's 28 car, finishes in 4th place. 5th for the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. And how about a 6th place finish for Kyle Steckley? 7th for Andrew Ranger. 8th for DJ Kennington. 9th for Marc-Antoine Cameron. And Brett Taylor round out the top 10. Donald Teague finishes in 11th place. 12th for Anthony Simone. 13th for Tyler DiVincenzo. 14th for Cole Powell. Isabel Trombley finishes in 15th place. 16th for Mark Dilley. 17th for Wally Wilson. He beats out LP Dumoulin in 18th, 19th for Kenny 4th, 28th for Michael Herniak Jr. 21st for Alex Tagliani, who struggles. 22nd for Kevin Lay. 23rd for the 89 of Donald Chisholm. Last car running as TJ Renamato has a mechanical failure and does not finish. Well, we want to thank you guys for tuning in once again for another NR2003 season. We'll try and get the points done. There is no point formula right now for the Pinty series based off of their championships, so it's a little bit difficult to get that kind of done. You have to basically do all the point totaling yourself, counting out all the numbers and who does what. But the next races, well, we are going to Edmonton for the Edmonton Indy and Edmonton Raceway. So that is going to be great. It's going to be part of the Western Swing. That will see us at Edmonton first. Then we will go to Motoplex Speedway, RIP, of course. Wyant Group Raceway 1 and 2. The Vancouver Indy is actually going to be replaced. I can't get that to work. So it's going to be a fictional Vancouver short track, and then Race City is actually going to be just before that in Calgary, Alberta. Chaudière is our 12th race of the season, and then Circuit Icar and our first race at Jukasa. 15th race of the season will be at Delaware Speedway. Then we've got doubleheader at Toronto, doubleheader at Trois Rivières. Montreal, CTMP's second race, Riverside, Mont-Tremblant, and the season finale at Jukasa. So thank you for tuning in. If you have already, subscribe to the channel. Stickers and Scuffs, our podcasts running every week. We have some great guests. Alex LeBay from the NASCAR Xfinity Series will be on the show starting tomorrow with the Bun Sons at noon Eastern. And then, of course, noon on Monday will be our interview with Alex LeBay. Thank you for tuning in, catching these NR 2003 NASCAR Pinty Series races. Lots of fun. We will catch you next time for more of the NASCAR Pinty Series fictional season on the Stickers and Scuffs YouTube channel. Have a great night, everyone.